Welcome back to another episode of the Multipliers Club. Today it's just myself, Joe Todd, and Sam Warrington and Jake Walters.
Yeah.
Luke Harvey's he's in Greece, sunning it up at a wedding after just coming back from Dubai. Sam, you just came back from Dubai as well. Your first time out there, mate. I know you've been waiting to get out there. How was it?
Yeah, it was an experience, man. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I can't fault the place. As you boys know, I've wanted to go to Dubai for years, and having an opportunity to finally get out there and just experience the city was incredible.
What was the because we haven't literally, I've only just seen you now, so we've not even caught up. What was it saying out there? Because you got there, you struggled to get there initially with the, I don't know if people have seen the floods, the storms, if they done the cloud seeding or what, I don't know, but it looked wild.
How did you manage to get out there?
Oh, mate, it was dramas. So Dubai flooded on the Wednesday. We were going to fly out on the Wednesday. The flight got cancelled, pushed back. Every time we checked the flight, it was being pushed back another day. So we got to Thursday. It was Thursday night. Me, Anthony and Luke, who we were going to Dubai with, were just waiting to get out there. And I just had this mad, spontaneous idea. I was like, if we keep waiting for the flight that keeps getting pushed back, my logic was the flights that are further away are going to be less prioritised because the airlines will know those people aren't at the airport. I just thought they would prioritise the flights that are most recent to fly out. So there was it was 7 p.m. on a Thursday. There was a flight at 10:30. Right, I said to the lads, I was like, look, let's get in a car now. We'll go to the airport and we'll just chance it because the flight was half hour delayed. So the boys were like, all right, fuck it. What else are we going to do? So we got in a cab. We drove to Heathrow, literally running out of the car, and we made the flight. The flight ended up leaving on time. Every other flight got cancelled. The one we chanced. We managed to get out there, which was absolutely sick. And more of a touch as well, I had the 2 seats next to me that were completely free. So I was literally just lying down in economy. It felt like business class. And we made it to Dubai. We landed at like 7 in the morning. And the floods were bad, lads, to be honest with you. Like, we got out the airport, got in a cab, and when you're driving down the motorway, there were certain roads that were just completely closed. You could just about see like the roofs of buses, you know, like probably single decker buses, which are still bigger than this building, really. They're just completely underwater. Like certain roads were just so flooded, man. It was crazy.
They're just not set up for it as well, weren't it? And
they have no drains in Dubai.
Yeah.
You know.
What was apart from that then? Obviously, what's your thoughts coming back from the place? Because I remember when I first went there, like, it opens up your eyes to a whole nother world. Like, it's a crazy place. What's your mindset coming back? Have you had any shift?
Yeah, just like it helped me realign with inspiration. I think like seeing that level of wealth when you're out there is eye-opening, you know. I didn't see any gold Lamborghini police cars. They're probably underwater still now from the floods. But just like even the architecture for me was crazy. I've never seen buildings that look the way the buildings look like in Dubai.
They're all just brand new. They all just look so like fresh.
Had
the wrapper taken off of them.
100%. And like literally, the first day we went to the marina, and obviously Luke and Anthony, who I went with, they've been to Dubai before. But I was just like some mad kid with ADHD. I couldn't stop looking at the buildings. I was like, whoa, look at that one. Oh my God, that's crazy. This is crazy. And then, you know, every other person that walks past, you just look at them and you just know they're doing well. You know, like big watch, just like dressed well, getting out Lamborghinis, Ferraris. I saw so many Bugattis.
Yeah, you see more supercars there than you ever have probably in your life, innit?
Yeah.
Just go to a shopping mall. Outside the shopping mall is just ridiculous, isn't it? Just
and hotels and that. Cause and hotels, you pull up outside. I rented the car when I went there.
Yeah,
literally valet. Pull up outside whatever hotel, leave your engine running. They give you a card, you go in the hotel, because most of the stuff's in the hotels, isn't it? Like you go for dinner or go for drinks or whatever, it's all in hotels.
Yes, I felt a little bit uncomfortable at times in Dubai.
Why?
Because of how good the service actually was. It's like you said, I mean, we'd pull up to the hotel in a taxi, and then you would have like the concierges literally run over, open a door, try and take your bags and stuff. And it was lovely. I've never been used to that level of service before. I felt a little bit bad for some of the chauffeurs and stuff, so I'd always give them like a little tip or whatever. But yeah, just in terms of like the whole city, for me, I can't really fault it. Like, there's not really anything bad I can say about the place, you know.
I think you can actually, on the surface, that's something that you can learn so much from. And when you compare it to other places, like I've never been anywhere that's anywhere near as good service as in Dubai. Like they just get everything spot on. And I think like when you're looking for your business, I always try to think like, mate, like you can learn so much of what Dubai does right to try and implement into your business, like touch points, you know. Yeah, mate, it's the place. It is the absolute place.
It really is. Like we were in a restaurant called Asia.
Yeah.
In the marina, I think it was 2 days in, and just all the food out there is crazy. Like the best level of food, like sushi, steak. There's so many Pan Asian restaurants, and I dropped a little bit of rice right on the side of my plate, like just off my plate, and within like 3 seconds of that rice grain being on the table, a geezer literally like paced over, picked up the rice, put it in his pocket. Topped up my water, which only had like it had probably that little in it, and then he walked away, and I was just thinking, that's crazy. I've never had service like that in my life. They can't do enough for you.
You pay for it, though, innit? You do pay for it.
Yeah.
It is extra.
Yeah, I mean, my experience with Dubai, comparing it to the cost of a night out in London, maybe I just spend too much dough in London, but I didn't really feel like there was a huge difference with the pricing, which surprised me. I mean, what was your boys' take on that?
Like when I was like, it was like, I think just at the hotel when I was there a few years ago as well. I've not even been in a couple of years now. That was £15 a pint, £16 a pint of beer just at the hotel.
Yeah, that's doughy.
Whereas here at that time it was like £4, so it was like 3-4 times the price just for a beer. Yeah, last time I went, I spent ridiculous money. So
yeah,
so,
it was easy to run through money out there for sure. I found the restaurants I went to. We went to some lovely restaurants. It was expensive, but I feel like for what you get for the money, I think it was money.
Yeah, I think the restaurants actually aren't that bad. Obviously, in compared to going to a nice restaurant in London, but it's when I don't know, was you getting that champagne and shit at the beach clubs and stuff?
Not really. I mean, like, obviously I was with Luke Harvey. All he drinks is Stella or Foster's, right? Like
cheap
Anthony,
date.
yeah, he's a cheap date, man. I felt a bit bad for Luke. Obviously, we were putting it on the business, and Luke doesn't eat much food. Like, for the viewers listening, we call Luke a carbitarian because he just eats potatoes, pasta, chips, rice. So me and Anthony would be ordering like fillet steaks, sushi, black cod, and then Luke would just be like, yeah, I just want chips and rice, please. So the bills were coming to like...
Splitting the bill.
He was paying for half of it. The bills were coming to like 600 quid. Poor geezers only had 4 pints and some chips.
Oh, mate.
Fast snap.
What would obviously I know you boys, you had a bit of a plan. You ran some ads for your business for the marketing out in Dubai. Was the actual plan, let's run some ads, and then if we sign some clients, that pays for us to go to Dubai? Or what was the thinking, and did it work?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, I'll tell you what the plan actually was. Like, in my mind, I've always been interested in Dubai, and I see a lot of entrepreneurs setting up second lives in Dubai. So I had in my mind, if I can sign some clients in Dubai and the UK does fall to shit, which it feels like is unfortunately happening slowly, I have a backup option in the UAE. So that was the kind of like methodology behind the madness. So we set up ads in Dubai started running them at the beginning of April. Within the first 10 days of running ads, I signed 3 clinics, good service monthly charges as well. And I was saying to Luke before we ran the ads, I was like, bro, let's go to Dubai. He was like, look, sign a couple clients in Dubai and then we'll go to Dubai. So literally that week I signed 3. I was like, right, we have to go to Dubai. So we booked it that week. So yeah, that's kind of how that happened. We market for aesthetic clinics and dental practices, and Dubai is BBL central. Like every other bird has a bazillion butt lifts. There's so many aesthetic clinics out there.
Just
so
go
many
5
dental
palm
practices
handing
there.
out business cards. Mate.
So there's a huge demand in Dubai for aesthetics, right? Which is ironic because it's quite I guess it's quite an artificial place as it is, right? But if it makes money, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of plan behind it. Signed some clients in Dubai. We originally booked it for business. We didn't really do any
Did you see clients in that when you're out there?
We met one client on the last day. That was literally it, to be honest. We were just living our best life. Like, there's just so much to do out there.
Yeah,
like,
get carried away.
Yeah.
That's the one thing, right? Because obviously you could get a lot of people moving out there, but there is also a lot of distraction. I can see that. Massively.
Oh yeah, massively. I was chatting to a couple of the lads that work in Dubai in real estate and recruitment, and they said you can so easily get caught up in the life in Dubai. Like, a lot of people go there and they can make a lot of dough, but But if you're not careful, you can go to Dubai for 2 years, come back to the UK with less money, because it's like you said, like you could go on a night out in Dubai, you could drop thousands, you know.
Easy. And you get so caught up in the moment out there.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
here,
massively.
I don't really ever get too gassed up. If I was in London, like, I don't really go too crazy. Might do, I don't know, like an extra 50 quid on a night out because it was a heavy night. Whereas there, you can just blow an extra 500 quid because you just get gassed and order another bottle or some shit.
What did you spend that 50 quid on in London, Joe?
Mate, I'm not into any of that. Thank you very much, mate. That's you.
You can't do that much in Dubai, so, you know.
What's the... in terms of now, like trying to push on the Dubai market, you obviously you signed a few clients, good clients. Are you going to try and push that and grow that as a second side of the business now, or?
Momentarily, we're pausing the Dubai stuff and we're developing more so in the UK, purely because Dubai is a different culture, right? So trying to scale a business in Dubai in marketing, there's certain pain points in the UK that are not relevant in Dubai. So there's big culture differences there.
They
and
expect
also
a lot more in Dubai.
Yes and no. Like, we signed an Emirati dental practice as a client, and after 3 weeks I fired her because she was so rude. Like, just she had no respect for us. I feel like in the UAE there's like division with certain types of workers. Like, yeah, like for example, the construction workers out there, you see them all packed up on buses, etc. I don't know what the relationship is with marketing companies and clinics in Dubai, if they see you as less or whatever,
inferior.
but yeah, she was just speaking to us like shit, and she was a good paying client as well. 3 weeks in, I just called her. I was like, look, you know, my mother doesn't even speak to me the way you're speaking to my team. We've got to leave it here. We don't want to work with you anymore. We won't hold you to the contract. See you later. Fucked her off. She's gone. Sorry for swearing, Lee. Lee keeps warning me not to swear because he keeps going to cut it out. So for the meanwhile, we're focusing more so on scaling the UK and maintaining what we have in Dubai, so we can find out what the problems are in Dubai before we go double down and actually scale the UAE. Because as I say, like, there's a huge opportunity out there for marketing companies.
There's a lot of competition in terms of marketing companies.
From what I'm seeing, not really, you know. Like, the marketing companies that are in Dubai are shit. Like,
really?
Yeah, they're not good at all.
But just not getting results, or just their content is terrible?
They're not getting results in the sense of they're basic lead gen agencies, but they haven't mastered sales. So the marketing agencies that I know of in Dubai, they just haven't got the same system that HW Media have got. So I know when we double down in the UAE, it's going to be huge, right?
Do you reckon you'd need to move out there to do that, or at least one of you move out there to really push the Dubai market?
I don't think it's a necessity, but it's something that would be fun, you know? Yeah. So it's something I'm open to.
Passion project for sure, like a lifestyle project. You know, you can charge a higher premium out there, but of course they'll expect a higher level of service. I don't think with a marketing agency you need to live in the city you are marketing in, if that makes sense. Like, we've got clients in the USA, we've got clients in Scotland. You know, we don't have to be there. There's benefits of obviously being in the place you market, because if you meet clients face to face, even in travel or construction, you build that synergy with the other person. Solidify the relationship.
Yeah. People want you more, for sure.
And also the tax benefits of Dubai. Surely that's got to be a big pulling factor.
It's huge, of course. Yeah, it's massive. Like, that's, you know, that's all I've been thinking about since I've been back from Dubai, is how much money you'd save. I worked out the numbers. We'd save 6 figures a year in tax. We'd be 6 figures a year better off. Like, considerably better off. Yeah. Like,
I think the problem is when people think that you can save tax, I still feel like you have to be there for a certain amount of time to reap any of the rewards. So it's not just a case how you can just do it for a year, get all the balls, and come back and then spend all the money that you've earned. You've still got to stay. It's got to be a 5 year to 10 year plan. It can't just be a 1 or 2 year plan. Yeah,
the legit way to do it, right? Because I've researched this, I've spoken to tax advisors, is if you want to register in Dubai for tax benefits, you have to, and this is the legal way to do it, other people don't do it this way, you have to give up your residency in the UK. right?
Yeah.
So you're no longer a resident in the UK. You gain residency in Dubai. You get a Dubai bank account. You do a health check. It's quite easy to actually do the process. Cost about £8,000 to register the company, get an address, etc. And then you're good to go. But then you don't have the residency in the UK. So I believe, don't hold me to this, but I believe you can only come back to the UK for 3 months of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
like
it's-
less than 90 days or something. Isn't
Yeah, so it is a big commitment, to be fair, lads. You know, if you do want to do it the right way, then you have to commit to it for sure. And you can only come back to the UK for 12 weeks.
And then I think it's
Yeah.
something, there is something to, it goes for each year. I think you have to be there minimum of like a year or 2 years or something. And then it's done on percentages all the way up to, I think, 5 years. But that might be completely wrong. Where there's still, if you just came back, there's still some sort of tax implications, I think. But it's one of those you need to speak to specialists.
They have implemented a tax in Dubai now. They have implemented a tax. So there's a 9%? I think it's a 9% corporation tax
Is it
for Dubai.
9%? I thought it was only going to be like a few percent. That's
Yeah.
quite steep, really.
However,
I know it's better than here, but
it's only for businesses that are profiting more than £900,000 a year. Profiting £900,000 a year. Yeah, so if you're below that bracket, and that's not turnover, that's profit, right?
Yeah.
So even if you're running at, say, a 50% profit margin as a business, which is healthy, you'd have to be doing £1.8 million turnover a year to pay any tax. So, you know, the benefits are still there massively, which is interesting. So, I mean, yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on Dubai? Like, do you guys see yourself ever potentially, you know, making that move as well? I know you've been there a lot of times.
yeah, I've been there a lot.
My sister lives there.
My sister lives there. She's been there 10 years now, I think. She loves it. I love it since, I think I first went there when I was 17. Must have been like 7 times, something like that. I was really, really close to, I wanted to desperately move when I was sort of like 20, 21.
Why didn't you?
So the 2 reasons I've not moved there is, one is there's been a couple of times where I've really wanted to move there. One is just because obviously the building company I've got, which is with my parents. So that's the main reason, really. Obviously, I set up the building company to go into business with them, to try and, you know, do something together to try and help them, obviously into like their retirement and stuff like that. And so that's the main purpose of everything right now. You know, your 20s is kind of, for me, is trying to help like my parents. So that's the main factor. Otherwise, because I would have just been leaving them otherwise. If there's a way to make it work where I could still have done something, then maybe I would have. But and then obviously just Ella as well. She's not really down to be moving abroad either. So they're the 2 factors really in terms of me.
Partner and business.
Partner and the partner and my parents. But obviously my parents would never say, "Oh, don't go," you know. But that's just me making that decision that I wouldn't go because I'm trying to help my parents. So yeah, if it was just down to me, 100 million% I would have got like that. Especially me at 20. Now I'm a little bit more tame and stuff like that. But me at 20. That place was built for me, like, do you know what I mean? That was me all over. So yeah, and I think if I moved out at 20, I have no doubt in my mind I'd be a lot further ahead than I am now, myself personally, in terms of my own wealth. I can't see that I wouldn't be a millionaire by now at all. Just when I was out there, I just remember just the people I was with and speaking to and contacts out there, just like, look, move out here. Like, you know, I had someone, and the thing is, all of the people that I was speaking to had someone before them say the same to them. Like, move out here, I'll help you. Trust me, you'll become a millionaire. Move out here, I'll help you. Move out here, I'll intro you to this person, that person. And so these people had that happen to themselves. And so they were saying that to me. I had a good few people saying, like, mate, move out here, I'll help you with the watches. Move out here, this is when I was doing the clothing stuff, like, I've got £1 million of watches sat here in stock, come out, we do deals, you can, you know, like, can have access to all of this. Had people there that just all different businesses really that were super successful.
I think it's quite interesting where people they move away from their family and friends, so they have to create new connections, and that obviously relates then into networking. They have to network in order to be able to have like a family unit there. So their friends become their family. You know, they have, you know, if they spend Christmas there and they're not seeing their family, they'll spend it with their friends and their network. And you have to make new connections. You're forced into that. Yeah, that's what we do. We do that here. We got the safety net of our family and current friends, but you have to push yourself out. Whereas in Dubai, you haven't got a choice. You have to.
And everyone you meet's been through the same thing. because everyone's moved out there. They left their family, they left their friends. So everyone gets it. Everyone's on board that sort of way of helping each other out, I feel like. And introing you and like bringing you into a new friendship circle and that sort of stuff. I feel like it's a lot more open out there, which is a good thing and a great thing for business. And everyone's just driven. Everyone wants to make money. And yeah, man, I do love it. We're going out there for over Christmas for a couple of weeks and New Year, hopefully. So, yeah, I think I want to, as the business does better and better, and in a few years, as I don't have to be sort of every single day in the office, like I'd like to start at least spending a lot more time, not even just necessarily in Dubai, but in the Middle East. Like my friend's obviously out in Saudi now. He's loving it. He's out there full time. Qatar's meant to be wicked. You've got Abu Dhabi, Dubai. So just over the Middle East, I think it's just going strength to strength out there.
The Middle East is 100% on the up. Like in every single way. And when you look at, I feel the UK, which is, I love the UK, obviously I'm from here, it's where my family or my friends are here. But when you actually look at what I feel is happening, it's kind of disheartening. Like, I don't know if the UK is still the best place to set up a business. I know we were talking about this prior to this podcast going live. But when you look at, for example, corporation tax a year ago was 19%. It's 25%. It's 25%, right?
Over, yeah, I think it's up to 50k. It's 19%. Anything over 50k
is 25%.
Yeah,
VAT 20%. Like turnover tax for me is something that I struggle with.
Really. I don't really count that as, for me and my business anyway. I think it's slightly different for you and your business.
It's different for us as well. Like, you know,
you charge the VAT anyway, then you just put it to one side and pay the government back with it anyway. Like,
but the problem is,
take into consideration that.
The problem is if you're doing B2B and you're working with businesses that are not VAT registered, which a lot of aesthetic clinics are not, right?
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
So they're doing less than 85 grand a year turnover?
That's not really my space to comment, like,
yeah,
in terms, but the reason I say that is, from what I understand, like a lot of them do things where they are exempt from certain taxes, right? So like a lot of doctors don't want to pay the VAT. They don't want to do it. So then it can potentially lose you biz. They'll ask if there's ways around not paying VAT, etc. For businesses that are VAT registered, it's fine. You know what I mean? So that's a struggle. And I feel like if you were to consider starting a business in Dubai, you don't have to worry about any of those taxes. And you can still work with businesses in the UK. Do you get what I mean? So I find that quite interesting. I mean, do you guys feel that the UK is still the best place to start a business?
It's hard to comment really, because obviously we haven't lived in enough places. We only know it, so I feel like it is one of those that potentially sometimes the grass is always greener. I think ultimately the decision needs to be much more around just the lifestyle that you want, rather than the tax and the opportunity and stuff in Dubai is obviously a huge pulling factor. But as we said, I think if you to do that, you have to. It's a big commitment. You have to only spend 90 days or less a year here. So really the main decision needs to be around what sort of lifestyle you're wanting to live, rather than just the business side of things. But I think it is, I don't know, from what I hear of other places, I think it still is a good place to be starting a business here.
There's a lot of money in the UK.
There is still a lot of money. I think obviously, especially where we are in Surrey and in London, there's a lot of money. I think my mind's shifted over the last year or two, where actually there is a lot of people here that will still help you out. I used to think very negatively just in the first industry that I was in, where no one wanted to put you on, no one wanted to help you, no one wanted to give you any advice in the industry. And I thought, fuck UK, no one wants to help you. Compared to like when I was in Dubai and everyone wants to help you. But actually over the last year or two, with the people we've got now in our network, I realised actually there's a lot of people that do want to help you and see you succeed. So yeah, I think there's also, it depends, you know, as you're growing a company, there's always ways to reduce your tax bills, because if you're reinvesting back into your company, back into equipment or back into marketing or back into whatever it might be, new branding and stuff like that, some of the stuff we've invested in, then it's going to reduce your tax bill as you're growing. And then when you do start making a lot of money, profit, then you start looking at other avenues anyway. Things like property is a good vehicle to reduce tax, and there's a lot of tax benefits by then moving your money across into investing in property and that sort of stuff. So
just on that, just a question on that, right? So how do people find out about that though? Because I feel like a big problem is, especially with young people starting businesses, they just don't know.
Speak to
that
experts.
stuff.
I've just paid an awful lot of money, as you know.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't, mate. That's
Right.
look what you just spent money on, which is a so-called expert, and he was shit.
Yeah, however, I've now spoken to another person who's led me on, and like they need to, for what I want to do, create a holding company and have all the subsidiary companies underneath. You still need to write to HMRC for clearance. You do need an expert to do it on your behalf.
Yeah.
Because you get to do an application that needs to be done by an expert, and you do need their advice in advance. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, the expert that I had wasn't good at all, and I wish I chose a different expert, but I still need an expert to be able to tell me what to
actually do things. Yeah, for sure. But I think you do need to, like, your question was, what was your question? How do people
find out about that though? Because to extend that question more so, a big problem with this game, right, entrepreneurship, is you got a lot of self-proclaimed experts that aren't experts, a lot of gurus that are not gurus. So I think one of the hardest challenges I've had is finding an expert that's actually an expert. Navigating through people. And when you're new to business, how do you decipher the difference? It's so hard.
We don't know, by taking losses.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Spending money, taking losses, complaining about it, and spending it again with someone else.
No, I think it has to be, you have to always be accountable yourselves and have a big interest. Like, that's the thing I think from myself, that's one of the best things I've done from day one. I have been obsessed with understanding the accounting and the tax side of things. I take it fully into my own hands. Of course, I've got my accountant, but I have asked him 101 questions over the last 7 years, and I've worked with him every single time to reduce the tax bill further, legitimately, with genuine write-offs and stuff. But you need to understand it yourself. You cannot, in my opinion, unless you've got the very, very best accountant and you know they're the very best. If you go to a normal high street accountant, do not rely on them to sort your tax, because they're just, there's just, from my experience, you're just not going to get that service. You need a specialist tax advisor to do that job. But in the early stages, you're not going to be paying one of those, because so you need to just take it into your own hands and try. That's
something that we've found out recently. I know we've talked about it before. There's two different things. You think when you first start in business that you need an accountant. Accountants can do everything. Yeah. And when you speak to your accountant, it's like, oh, can I get this? I'm not sure. Well, you're my accountant, you should know. But it's not. No. It's the tax expert. It's two different professions. You need an accountant and you need a tax expert, depending on where you are in your business. Yeah. But even starting out, so you can plan for the future, speaking to both is definitely worth it, yeah.
I agree. I think when you first start out, your first priority is just got to be making money, right? Because you ain't even got to worry about tax if you're not making dough. Yeah. You know, it's when you start doing some decent figures, when you hit the VAT threshold, when you start paying a lot of corp tax and your corp tax bills start becoming 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 100K a year, that's when you should start thinking, oh my God, I need help. If any tax advisors listen to our podcast, hit me up.
I found a good one. I had a meeting with one last week who's so much better than the one I had, and half the price.
Talk about your experience a little bit with the previous tax advisor.
So, yeah, I was not going to name names, I'm not going to badmouth people, but I basically went to me and you had a conversation, Joe. I've actually got 5 different businesses, and only one of them is actually profitable. Obviously, one of them, what we do, is the podcast. A couple of property businesses, one of them's new property business. So actually my only profitable one is the travel agency, and we had a conversation about offsetting all the losses from those companies. If one company's losing money, you should be able to offset it from another company. So you look at what's called a group structure. That was one of the things that I had. Also, reducing corporation tax bill, wondering if there was any specific ways you can get around it. Like you said, there's always, you always try and think of new ways, but we're not experts, we don't know. And the other thing was about the VAT as well, which is another form of tax. So those are 3 things that I approached the tax accountant with, and I said, this is what I want to try and achieve. This is basically where I think I can save tax, similar to what you would do with your accountant. And basically the tax report, it cost me £6,000, and this pretty much just come back and said, yep, we agree, you need that stuff pretty much. And it's going to cost you, sent me another bill. Here's a bill for £10,000. This is how we're going to implement it. Wow. So it's going to cost me 16,000. I've already spent 6. Now he wants another 10 to be able to implement it all. And yeah, I just feel like the advice that was given, what I thought it was going to be is this company's lost this has lost this. So if we write off of this is how much. I'm more into figures than writing. I don't really read long tax reports. And I spoke to another tax advisor who I sent her the report, and she was like, yeah, and some of it you can't even do what they're suggesting. So gone back to them, basically just said, yeah, I'm not happy, written basically a formal complaint as to why I'm not happy. But yeah.
Do you reckon you get your money back?
No.
You don't reckon?
Can you report it to the bank maybe?
I signed a contract. I don't know what's in the contract, but do I want to go down the legal route of, I could potentially go down that route. No. But do I have a leg to stand on? I'm signed in. I don't know. But yeah, it's
I'd call
another learning curve.
Yeah,
it is, mate. It's all just that's it.
Because this person is like very well known in the industry. I spoke with.
Hey, I'd out him. Why not? If he's just scammed you, you can't even do things that.
Well, no, obviously I'm going to give him an opportunity to actually. I've made the complaint, then it's their opportunity to come back and actually.
Yeah.
Address the complaint.
Otherwise, I'll just get onto the guy and we're posting all over TikTok.
That's just part of it. We've all taken losses, and I just feel like I haven't got value from it. I've spoken to another expert who feels like I've definitely overpaid and definitely haven't received the value that I should have from it as well. There's a few things that I did ask him for which I haven't used, which is stuff like using my company profits to actually put aside and invest. Like when we've got corporation tax and VAT bills, all that goes to one side, but it just sits there doing fuck all. I want to know what to actually do with that money before you have to pay the tax bill, because you haven't got to pay a tax bill until 12 months after your end of year accounts is done.
Yeah, 100%. Just tax isn't black and white, it's grey. Like, whenever I've looked into things, advisors say, well, you could do this, but you probably shouldn't do this, or you could do that, but you can't do this. I'm just like, what? Just tell me, like, bro, like, how?
Yeah,
like,
yes or no.
Tell me what to do.
Yeah, yes or no.
That's one yes or no, black and white. I mean, I've also gone through an experience recently, as you boys know. We bought a program for $18,000, and I'm not quite ready to comment on it just yet until I find out how it transpires. But in the next couple of weeks, I might be out in one of the biggest people in the marketing industry, and I'll be out in them as well if these things don't transpire. Like you said, I'm going public with this shit.
What's the I don't even know what is
this
the
thing. You can
situation.
spend so much money and you just don't get value. When you're spending that kind of money, you're expecting the world.
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm not ready to say names yet because I'm in a dispute with this company at the moment. But we bought a program for $18,000, which was meant to help us scale in the UK. It was meant to be in the USA. Sorry, yeah. It was meant to be a done for you program where. Yeah, look, I'm not going to talk too much on this yet, just because I'm in the process of a dispute. But in the next couple of weeks, depending on how it transpires, so
that's 24 grand down the drain between you.
Full guns blazing.
Yeah.
That's it.
But you live and you learn. Like you have to spend this money to actually know what you fucked up on. That like you learn from your failures. They are expensive failures, but. You have to go through that. You're not going to find the best tax advisor first time round, potentially. You have to spend money to realise what a bad tax advisor is. And the new tax advisor I actually spoke to actually said that this current firm has just received huge investment. So they're actually scaling up to sell. So I feel like they're diluting their service and everything that they're offering to their clients that they would have done previously. So it all makes sense as to why it looked like a great opportunity and it looks great, but they've just received huge investment and they're now just trying to build it up to make it as profitable as possible to sell. So they're losing what they want to offer their customers.
Pause the podcast there to give a massive shout out to our sponsor, the Manifestation app by Robert Heisey, the UK's #1 unconscious mind therapist. Now, this app is an absolute must for anyone that's looking for further success in their life. It covers a whole range of things from meditations, calm stories, unconscious mind therapy, journaling, mood tracking, affirmations, the list goes on. It's an incredible app. It's got an incredible community within the app that you can connect with other like-minded people. And we actually have a code, TMC Manifest, for 25% off of your first month. So go check it out. It's on the App Store, the Manifestation app. Back to the podcast.
What are your boys' views on risk and how your attitude to risk has changed this year? Because I know me and you, Joe, we've had a couple of conversations where, you know, speaking from my personal experience, 3 years ago, I didn't have as much money as I do now. And by all means, I'm not a baller yet, but I'm doing okay. I used to just have all of my money in high risk investments like hella crypto, Forex, rent to rent property. And I can honestly say, and I don't even care, like it embarrassing, whatever, but I've lost money in everything I've ever invested in, except from HW Media and the money I've just got stacked in premium bonds and current accounts. Right. So my attitude to risk now is, unless it's super calculated, like I don't even want to take it. Like
Bitcoin at the all-time high.
Yeah, I got wrecked in crypto first bull run because I didn't have a huge portfolio anyway compared to you boys. But yeah, I lost money in crypto, I lost money in Forex, I lost money in property. Everything I've invested in, I've lost dough in. I'm still up more than I'm down. But
yeah, but you have to go through that to learn at the end of the day. I feel like I'm still in uber high risk stuff. A lot of my stuff is uber high risk, but that's because I'm young and I can afford to take the risk because I know I'm going to make it back. I know 100% I'm going to make it back. But when you get to your, and this is what a lot of financial advisors will say, take all your risk, 20 to 30, have it, 80% in high risk investments. As you get older, then you transfer your wealth into low risk property, pensions, stuff like that. You're not going to, you can't fuck it when you're 50 because you're running out of time to be able to make it back. But
that's a good point.
If you mess it up when you're 20, 30, like we've got all this time, the next 10 years of business and everything, we could lose all we've got now.
Make it back.
And we can make it back.
So are you saying 80% of your portfolio when you're young should be high risk and 20% low? Like,
well, I mean, I'm not a financial advisor,
from your
not
advice,
an expert.
like your experience personally.
Yeah, my experience personally, yeah, all my stuff is, I say all of it, probably 20% of it is in like pension, something that's pretty safe. And then the rest of it is, super high risk, crypto with Forex, yeah.
But then, you've just had a withdrawal today of what, $3,500 from trading.
Oh yeah, that was from trading.
The Forex. I mean, so it's like
that was a high risk thing that I put money into. Yeah,
from a few $100s or something. And
so I spent a little bit more than that. Yeah,
but I think for me, you touched on a point there. Like the only thing that's paid is HW Media. I think for me, certainly when you're young, high risk. Like I look at, I think what I've not got right is the balance, but the investments and the high risk, I think, 100% when you're young. Like if you invested 10,000, this is what I was saying to my dad, where he was like, no, because you were wrong if you invest. I can't remember what it was about, but if you lost, I said, you're not, because let's say I have, I don't know, £100,000 and I invest £10,000 into high risk crypto in your early 20s, when it has been the biggest opportunity that's ever existed in however many years, like more than the .com thing. It probably is the most lucrative investment opportunity that's ever happened. Or at least one of. So even if you then lost all your £10,000, that, in my opinion, that was still the right decision to make. Like, do you know what I mean? Just because you lost it, that's how to identify the risk. I think if after you can say, it was still worth a go because it was the biggest potential opportunity going. Whereas I think I've just gone overboard on things. So instead of having just a £10,000 when I had £100,000, I had £60,000 in there when I had £100,000, and I was 60% all in crypto. So yeah, that's the part I've got wrong. But I also think you touched on your own business. I think that's the best thing you can invest in. It's what do they say? Invest in yourself. Like literally, if you invest in yourself and you invest in your business, that's the best thing you can invest in. Like for example, the NLP training cost us however much, and then the mentorships with Steve. So in total, I must have spent I don't know, 6-7 grand or something, probably with Steve and that sort of side of things, and you can't ever take that away from me now. I can sell so much better than I could sell before the NLP. So how much is that worth?
Yeah, something you said to me, Joe, I think we were driving to Bournemouth to meet Dodge Woodall a couple of months ago, and I was talking to you about how I might buy a property at the end of the year, do a little flip. And then you said to me, why do that when you can just invest more in what's already working, double down on it, get better at sales, hire more staff, invest more in a business, because you could probably invest 50k into HW, turn it into 500k, and that's something I know, right? I understand sales, I understand marketing. So my attitude to risk is still high, but in stuff that I believe in. Does that make sense? Like stuff that I actually know. Because the thing is, when I was investing in crypto forex,
but then it becomes not as high risk. That's the thing. If you spend all day, every day in crypto, it's not high risk to invest in crypto.
If you know about crypto,
So you doing what you know and what you're good at, even if to someone else that seems high risk, it reduces the risk dramatically. That's why I said to you, because you was talking about property. It was after Property by Casey. And I was like, mate, just to how you were saying it to me, I was like, mate, you're doing what we all do when we hear a new idea. And I was like, mate, you're just repeating one thing you've just heard him say. And you're like, mate, I think this would be great. I might just do 1 to 2 flips, And I was like, why? Well, I'm not saying you're wrong. I was just questioning. I was like, why? Because you're not really into property or the building game or connected in sort of that area. I was like, and just with the other things you was talking about at the same time, like growing HW Media or investing into certain stuff, then it was just sometimes I think just stopping and saying why do you actually want to do that right now?
I see sales staff as Bitcoin. That's how I see it. Like I was talking to you about this yesterday. Like if I invest 24 grand a year into a sales staff member, right, it's £2,000 a month, but that £2,000 a month investment generates £20,000 a month worth of sales. That's an 18k return. What's that percentage-wise? That's a crazy percentage-wise.
Yeah, that's like 800%.
800% a month.
Like that, yeah.
Compound that over 12 months. I'm no mathematician, but that's a lot of percentages. Right? So, and I can control that because I can train this salesperson. I can develop that mindset. I can give them leads. So that to me is a lower risk method than putting money into. And I'm not even saying don't invest in crypto. It's just for me personally, I don't really have an interest in crypto. I don't have an interest in forex. I don't particularly have an interest in property either, but I've always done sales and I feel like that's the lane that I can scale with control. Whereas when I was investing in crypto, I just chuck a couple of grand on a shit coin and just cross my fingers, hope for the best. And I got wrecked, but I deserved to.
That's what most people do. Yeah, obviously, there is an element of learning it. I feel like with crypto, it's just emotion. Yeah, people buy when they see it going up, and they're like, "Oh fuck!" I need to get in. I'm just gonna go higher, and then it just crashes, and they're like, "Oh fuck! I've put 2 grand in. It's now £1,000. I'll take it out. I'll lose £1,000." And then they've got £1,000 sitting in the account. They're waiting for it to go up again, and they'll put it back in again. We all done it last time, I'm pretty sure. But again, it's just actually learning about it, and then you can just learn. Again, I pay a subscription of £100 a month to this 360 trader based in the US. He just helps you handle the emotions, take all the emotion out of it, understand what the cycle is, and then you just learn it. But that's not even a business. That's crypto's just a hobby.
Absolutely, yeah, like a hobby side thing. I think it's I think for me it's having something there that's like my risk tolerance now is I'm still in crypto, but overall now I'm moving into lower risk, and I think because I'm into property anyway, like the building goes obviously
for you, property is the one, mate.
And it's like properties. Just I thought about it and I thought, it's the good thing with property is there's a couple of things I'm good at. So can make money, yeah. So somehow I know in my life I'm always going to find a way to make money. If you can then take that money and move it into property, and then it doesn't matter. Your business is going to go up and down. We are going to have ups and downs. Like I touch wood, I don't ever go bankrupt, yeah. But super successful people, if you want to go on to make millions and millions and millions of pounds, you're going to come so close to going bankrupt at some point in your time. You're going to go close to, having what appears to be nothing for a stage. It's, I saw a video of Donald Trump, did you put it in the other day, where at one stage this was when he was already so successful, but he's walking past a homeless person and said to the missus he was with, saying, I'm $900 million worse off than this guy. And it's because at that time it was minus 900 million. This is, to be worth minus 900 million, you have to be somewhat, obviously not somewhat, you have to be super successful already.
Yeah, this is what Donald Trump said. He looked at a homeless person. He was like, if that homeless person had $900 million, he'd still be richer than you. And his girlfriend was like, how's that possible? He was like, babe, I am in debt $900 million. Yeah. But he bounced back.
Exactly. And like Elon Musk, even after selling PayPal, put everything into SpaceX and Tesla, and he came so close to
losing everything,
going bankrupt. So point being is your business and your personal income will fluctuate massively if you're going to be in this sort of game. Whereas if you can take money in your good times, move it into property, even if you're going through a downwards turn in your business, you're going to consistently have some assets there. They're going up in value over time. You know that in the future you're still going to be good as long as you hold on to those properties, if you've built up enough of them, and you're going to get some cash flow, so that if you go through a stage where you can't pay yourself or whatever, if you've got 5-10k a month coming in for your property, you're good. You're never going to have to live a bad life. So that's what we're doing now, and that's why I think over the next 5 years I'll be able to build a portfolio in property that, I
feel property is the end goal for everyone. Like everyone with money, has property, pretty much.
100%.
95%.
I read a stat that like 80% of millionaires in the UK came up because of property. That's 8 out of 10 millionaires, they came up because of property. That's crazy numbers. And I feel like it's safe to us. No, it is safe. It's fucking safe.
No, it's safe. It's tangible.
You can see it. It's not going anywhere. Yeah. Whereas what I don't like about the whole crypto and stock thing is it's out of your control. Like if that company goes bankrupt tomorrow, you're wrecked. With property, I feel like you're in control of your own economy to an extent. Interest rates fluctuate that. Right.
Yeah. You need to. You can't just. You need to be educated in property still. I think. I think you don't need to be. You don't need to understand everything, but you need to. You need to have your head switched on, because you can get wrecked in property. A lot of people have just are losing properties now as we speak. Take it back 10 years, however many years ago, and the last crash, lots of people lost. 2008. That was ages ago now, actually, isn't it? But anyway, however many years
16.
ago that was, 2008. Lots of people lost their properties then. Like I say, a lot of people are losing it now. So you have to be careful, because A, you need to understand that side of things, and B, also you can end up just not making much money at all if you buy in the wrong area. But overall, if you're a bit educated, then buying property is a good move. And I think if you're in a situation to get one, and then, even if it's not for another few years and you manage to get another, just somewhat start accumulating. You don't need to be full-time property investor, but just start trying to accumulate some as you go, as you're making good money from your business. Because like I say, there is ways to, again, if you get more educated, there's good tax write-offs as well.
Joe, you recently, you just acquired some property up north, right?
Did you complete on those other ones, by the way?
Literally it was meant to be on Friday on the rest. It was meant to be on Friday, and we was good to go. And then because we didn't do it by the end of April, he had to get a updated redemption statement. So today's, obviously, we just come back from bank holiday weekend. Fingers crossed today. If not, should be tomorrow.
Talk a little bit about the properties you bought in. Is it Liverpool, right? You bought a block of
it's in Wirral.
Four flats.
Block of 5 apartments in Wirral, which is
so why
the nice part of
why Wirral and why 5 flats? It's very far from where you live.
Yeah, so Wirral is no particular reason. I'm open to look wherever, but then when I got offered these ones in the Wirral, did some research, realised actually the Wirral is quite nice. Like there's on the same road, there's like houses that haven't been converted to flats that are like £700,000-800,000. Now I was shocked.
Up north as well.
Yeah, I was shocked. Mate, I drove down the road, there's like Porsche on the drive, Mercedes. I was thinking, what? Like I just had this perception of Liverpool. I thought like they're just gonna all be hanging about on the pavements, just drinking cans of Stella or something. But actually, it was quite nice up there. So the city's wicked as well. To be fair, Liverpool is better than bloody London, mate. I'm telling you, it's thriving. But lovely property, Victorian property. So which I like. The fact it's a period property, it's going to hold its value. Don't want something that looks new and shiny now, but in 10 years no one wants it. So period properties are always going to have that demand. Lovely inside, like original features and stuff. One of the ceilings is so nice. And yeah, a block of 5 apartments, I think for me, at the moment, there's a couple of reasons for that. Because of the whole economy and interest rates and people getting themselves in situations, if you're a property investor and you need to let go of some properties ASAP because you're in a little bit of bother, just a single 2-bed, 3-bed house that anyone on the market's going to buy, you're not really going to let that one go. You know, if it's a block of 5 apartments, or you're only going to have to let that go to like a property investor. Do you know what I mean? So therefore, when you're selling to a property investor in that sort of situation, you know you have to basically do them a good deal. It has to be sort of below market value, really, if you want to get rid quick. So there's a lot of good deals on blocks. And like I say, it ticks the box that it's a nice property. It's a Victorian property converted into flats. I like the fact that it's one roof for five dwellings rather than 5 individual roofs, which allows for 5 problems with the roofs and that sort of stuff. You just need one, you need one set of local contractors as your contacts, rather than, imagine if I had one in the Wirral, one in bloody
Liverpool,
Derby, one in Manchester, one in Newcastle, one in thing. That's a lot more headache and a lot more cost and a lot more risk for things to go wrong. So I like the fact that it's one roof. Got a good price on it. I think 3 of them are tenanted, 2 are vacant. One needs like some work, but they all need a bit of work.
Do you inherit the tenants? So they start paying you rent straight away?
Yeah, so 3 of them. Yeah, it's actually a family that rents each one of them.
Okay.
But like I said, there was all 5 of them. Now there's only 3. So 2 are vacant, which is okay. So we can do the work up on those 2, get those let at sort of a higher price. Got some minor works to do within the ones that are tenanted as well. But they're all nice. I've been up there twice, met them all. Really nice family. So yeah, mate, it's good. That's the start. And obviously we're going to sort of do the BRR strategy. Although there's not loads of refurb because we bought at a good price, and then we'll do some refurb. We'll be able to then refinance, basically draw our money out and go again. And probably next one, look to do a slightly bigger deal. If we're going to do the same strategy, if we do go for a block, we look to do a slightly bigger one.
Thing is, you got multiple relief dwelling on the...
Yeah, but that finishes in June. Yeah, so luckily, obviously, we're getting that now as long as we do complete now.
Literally, it's like 3-4 weeks away.
Yeah. So... but yeah, so the multi-dwelling release, that's a pain in the arse that's gone, which if, for the listeners, that is basically if you buy, I think you have a 6-month period. If the properties are connected, so through the purchase, they're connected, which these are obviously because it's all under one roof, then you get something called multi-dwellings relief, which is basically on the stamp duty, you get a reduction based off how many properties you're buying. So, but that's disappearing in June, another basically increase in tax as such.
How much would that have cost you? How much is it costing you?
I think it's 11.5 grand we're paying, but it would have been 19 grand or something. So it's like 8 grand saving. Or 8, I think it's 8.5 grand saving. So yeah, I mean, obviously there's the thing where we want to do the developments locally, where we do what we know best, and we take properties, max them out, do them super high end. Basically what we're doing for clients anyway, where we do large extensions, loft conversions, all our handmade kitchens.
You can get it all at cost price.
Exactly that, exactly. And where we live, there's opportunity, there's some nice houses where, we'd aim to be, buying under $1 million, but spending $500,000 on them and selling for 2+ or whatever in nice areas around here. So that's certainly something we're going to look to do. But I think, to be honest, that's an area that there's really good money in it for us because we can do everything at cost. That I think we'd look to just bring investors on board and do it with investors, and then maybe just look to build the cash flow and assets because there'd be flips. Those we wouldn't hold those. We'd do them, sell them, make good money, and then we'll continue on the cash flowing. Jake, what about yourself? You're also going through purchasing.
Yeah, so purchasing a property at the minute, a flat based in Catford. It's got a short lease, so we've got a really good price on it. Obviously, this is our first project, and short lease, whenever you say that, people get scared if you don't know what you're doing. And I don't know what I'm doing. So what I've done is I found somebody that does know what they're doing, a solicitor who's done this many times before. They know how to extend the lease. When you're extending a lease on a property for and you are buying it, you, as a general rule, once you purchase a property, you have to be the owner for 2 years before you can extend the lease. So if you're dealing with a solicitor that doesn't know what they're doing, you buy the property, you'll have to sit in it for 2 years, then extend it. However, solicitor we've got very good, very experienced. What happens is you go to the person that you're buying from, they have to serve you something called a Section 42. It's just a bit of paper to say, we now give you permission to extend the lease. So they're passing that over to us. And then once we buy the property, we can then extend the lease. We're doing a full conversion. It's currently got a completely different layout. I think we're going to completely redo the layout. The bathroom is next to the kitchen, so we're going to move the bathroom so it's not next to the kitchen. Nobody is going to really want to buy a place and live there for 5-10 years where they've got their bathroom next to the kitchen. So we're doing that, making 2 good-sized bedrooms and making the living room and kitchen area slightly bigger. And yes, it's a straight flip. That's being funded fully by an investor who's actually one of our friends. I'm not putting in any of the money. I'm putting in all the time and making all the connections, and but basically going to be doing all the works on it and basically controlling everything. Hopefully in and out within 6 months, but given the market, it might be slightly different. So
nice. So if you don't mind me asking, how much have you put down on the property?
So it's 200k purchase price, deposits 50k, again not by me, by an investor. 50k deposit, and then we're 40k to extend the lease, and hopefully spending maybe 40k on the refurb. Properties down that road are going from anywhere about 360k and up. It's in Catford, which obviously is on its way to London, so much further towards central. The sort of question when we're first getting into it in your mind is, do you invest local or do you invest further away? Do you hold or do you flip? I was mind boggled for months just thinking about it. We've got the money there. Now it's like, right, what do you do with it? And eventually I just thought, look, if any deal comes available that I can have a good amount of control of, then, and it looks like a good deal, stack the numbers on it, then I'm just going to do it just to get involved in it. We're not necessarily looking to make huge sums of profit. I don't think we will make huge sums of profit, to be totally honest, but I know that we should make some profit. Even if we don't, we've got a backup plan B, worst case scenario, we keep it, refinance it, and then we try and pull out as much money as possible. But ultimately, we would still have a property. And then, best case, we make money. We get experience. That's all we're doing it for. And I've said that to who the investor is as well. He's brand new into property. And, we're pretty much just saying we're going to do it for the experience. And that's it.
100%. I feel like what you'll learn from doing this flip as well, even if you don't make loads of dough, when you get the next property and the next one, you'll have that experience you can leverage, and I'm sure it'll be very profitable. Teams that we
would have worked with, so people that we would have worked with that we would work with again, solicitors, contractors, and just team. I think that's quite important, and you would know which ones you do want to deal with again and which ones you don't want to deal with again. So it's just weeding out the shit and putting in a good process. But obviously, because it's local, I feel like our portfolio now, if we build the team, we'd probably have to stay local. But one project at a time, we've got time in our hands. So hopefully we get this done, we make a reasonable amount of profit, and then we just go again.
That's the thing I love, is it can just be a one project at a time. You see, in business, it's never ending. Like, you don't do some business and you get a little bit of a break and then decide what you want to do next and go again. Like, it's constant, isn't it? You've constantly got clients to service, then it's like next job starting, new leads coming in, so on and so forth. It's just never ending. Whereas with property, you can do this deal, sit back, assess it, see how it went. Do I want to do something similar? Do I want to change it up? Do I want to do the same area? Do I want a little break? Like, you can actually just take your time, have a little breather, and that's fine because you've done the work. And now, even if you didn't do anything for the next 6 months, that's still going to continue to pay you. With business, like, and what all of us do really, but you have to you do the work to win the client, and then like for us, we've got to then service the job for the next 6 months or whatever. And it's, whereas with property, you do the work and then you've got a property that's going to continue to pay you, continue to go up in value. And it's like, even if you do nothing for the next 6 months, you still got that there.
Yeah, I think it's the nearest thing to passive income for sure, because your game's similar to mine. Like, we bring on a client and then you've got to do the work for the client. You can't just bring on the client and then put your feet up. Yeah. It's a never-ending game, marketing, you know. Right, okay, cool. So we've talked about some cool stuff today. We're going to wrap up for today's episode. Follow us on Instagram if you haven't already. Follow us, subscribe, like and comment our stuff if you do like it. Genuine feedback's always nice. What do you guys want to hear from us? What type of guests would you like to see? And what type of topics would you like us to discuss? See you guys next time, and thank you for tuning in.